folks. You are listening to part 2 of a 2-part podcast. If you haven't listened to episode 1, you might want to go back and listen to that first before this one. Otherwise, you might be a little lost. Also, in case you didn't get the content warning the first time around, this episode's a little spicier than usual. So, use your discretion. And we hope you enjoy it. It's a bit different, but we had a great time. Let's talk about a happy moment. Series of happy moments. Let's talk about Gabe and Isabel. So to recap, Gabe has some what a person who doesn't speak Spanish would call mano a mano time. That means hand to hand. For those of you who don't know, it's
brilliant. What is man to man?
Hombre a hombre. Yeah.
Wow. Why do people get that so wrong then?
Because it's I don't know. You want me to explain Spanglish to you?
Yeah, that is so bad.
I think it's about fist fights. I don't know. I just made that up.
Yeah.
Don't, John. Yeah. I just don't know.
So he wants to know, Papa Isabel needs to know more or wants to know more about Gabe's transition and what informed those decisions. And Gabe has made a photo album on his phone, which he can't look at because he says he hates who he was and he wanted to die every day. And Gabe compares living in the body that Gabe compares living as a woman to having an extra limb that he can feel that nobody else can see, which I thought was a really useful.
It was useful
analogy.
Yeah. Like, why wouldn't you want to get rid of that, right?
Right, but also you don't get the validation from other people because they don't see that anything's wrong.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that. Totally having an invisible disability.
Yeah.
And a host of other mental health conditions.
The whole conversation was so thoroughly healthy, life-affirming, joyous, beautiful.
It really was. It was embraceful.
It was embraceful. This is what sometimes reality TV can do.
Sure.
That you could write a scene like this in a fictional drama, right? But you've written it deliberately to have that effect. But this is, to the extent that it is real. I thought it was really moving and powerful.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nice. I was, like, we're here to exercise. And the dad's like, yeah.
Oh, sure.
And then he's like, the guy, Gabe?
Gabe, yes.
He's just like, pedals the bike like 6 times, like, yeah, exercise. And then they just stopped. I thought it was really funny, which is not the point you're talking about at all. It was a very nice conversation, but that moment was really
like the last thing you want to do with like her dad is get like all out of breath and stuff and just show that you're not strong.
And of course, the greatest exercise of all is being embraceful.
Embracement.
This, again, there's nothing for me to snark on here. I thought this was beautiful. I thought this was beyond tolerance, acceptance, all of that stuff. He talks about Papa Isabel said that his faith in God helped him understand what Gabe had been through, and that if everyone can accept God's love, then everyone can love LGBTQ plus IA.
Yeah.
He didn't say accept. He didn't say tolerate. He said love. I was gobsmacked because he sounds like an actual follower of Christ.
Yeah.
Like a real Christian.
Just like Chris's mum. That's 2 in 1 season.
Yeah, this is wild.
Yeah.
These are the moments that are really so like you said, Robin, life affirming and hopefully will inspire further change.
Just to explain to you, Emerald, the whole setup had been that this was a very religious man. So he was almost certainly going to like hellfire and brimstone this shit. And then it came to him and he was like, God is love.
I have only seen this 90 minutes of this entire show ever, but based on all of the awkward or nightmarish or bad communication stuff that had happened before this moment of the show,
Yeah.
I was really like very, very concerned that I was going to have to like sit through like a hate speech. And I was just sitting there like, oh no. Oh, but then like, what a delight.
What a delight.
It was.
We'll make you watch the Kenny and Armando series one day.
Further delights are to come. Papa Isabel gives his blessing for Gabe to propose to Isabel. Now he actually has to do it. Uh-oh. He takes Isabel to El Carmen to make some pottery. But they're not there to make pottery.
They're there to make marriage.
Yeah. Love? No.
Proposals.
Oh, my love. No, hang on. Shit.
That was a
What's the
ghost.
song in Ghost?
No, but he's dead.
Yeah,
And
but
they're
it's
already married.
It's a romantic pottery thing.
I'm not going to help.
No, me neither. You're out there on your own. We're going to let you die on stage.
Roadhouse? Oh.
It's not Roadhouse.
I mean, Unchained Melody is in Top Gun. Is it the song in Ghost? What's the song in Ghost?
No, Unchained Melody is the song in Ghost.
They use the same song.
No, in Top Gun, they don't do Unchained Melody. They do...
Bring Back That Loving Feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aw.
They're both the righteous brothers. Those bros are righteous.
One of them might be the Everly brothers. Though.
Maybe they're both the Everly. They're both... It's the same set of brothers, I think.
Is it really?
I don't
No.
know.
Come at us if you know the difference between the Righteous Brothers and the
It's
and the
definitely
Everly
not
Brothers.
the Isley brothers.
Come at us if you've heard of the Webb brothers. I'm going to leave that dangling there.
Okay.
Anyway, they're at this pottery thing. I thought this was cute. The little ring covering pottery thing clattering around on the plate.
I thought it was adorable, and I really appreciated that he took the time to write it out in Spanish, even if he didn't practice it at all before saying it. People really struggle with the word for marriage and the conjugations
And what's that?
there.
What is the word for marriage?
To marry is casar. So
Don't struggle. You can't struggle now.
what do you mean I can't struggle?
You just said people struggle. You've got to...
No, because I paused because I wanted to make sure I was right. It is the verb to marry is casar. ¿Quieres casar conmigo? I don't know. Es un placer de casarse.
I think it was like casarte or something. There's like I feel like they stuck.
He did say because he couldn't say casarte or casarse, which I also can't say either. I know that my Spanish is heavily accented. I did grow up in a bilingual household. I apologize to anyone who I've offended with my out of practice Spanish. But like most people,
you should see her
who
pottery.
don't speak
It's
Spanish.
heavily accented.
It's heavily. My pottery is so bad. When I was in art school, which was a very, very brief moment in time, I took a pottery class and I have no talent for it. at all.
When I was in art class, I took a printmaking class, even though I can't draw. And then we were all supposed to do like a toy themed print. And so I just put 6 circles on black circles on a red square and was like, it's a Lego. Because that was the extent of my drawing acumen.
That's good.
That's
all
a
right.
great idea.
And the teacher was just like, you asshole. Anyway, the pottery, I thought this was a nice pottery, and it was nice to not hear the robot translator deliver that passionate and beautiful.
You have, not being a 90-day aficionado, you've not seen where the robo translators have gone horrifically wrong in the past.
Oh, it went pretty well today.
It went pretty well today. The classic is this guy called Jihoon.
Korean guy.
Can you remember the mistranslation, Michelle?
I'm actually gonna look it up.
We're gonna pause.
We're gonna pause because
so we can just play Emerald,
worth
the
looking
all-time. I think the all-time greatest 90-day scene. We'll be right back. We couldn't find it. We couldn't find it.
If anyone can find it,
send us like a YouTube link if you can. You all know the scene we're talking about.
Yeah.
The Jihoon classic mistranslation. Anyone got a link for that shit? We're going to send it to Emerald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else on these two? Felicitaciones, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's hope they make it to...
Is he growing up a little bit? Do we have some hope for it? Because we kind of felt like... He was a guy who was externalizing all of his problems like, oh, people won't accept me because I'm trans. And look, I'm not underplaying that. But like, we also felt that he was a bit of a teenager who didn't really know himself and wasn't really ready to commit and stuff. But maybe he's growing up a little bit and it could be okay. Do we think maybe?
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I thought it was really nice that he asked the kids before.
Yeah, it was cool.
Because I can, when I was a kid, my parents got divorced, and then we moved into this 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house when there were 8 of us, and I had to sleep in an attic. And then one weekend, my mom just went off with the guy we'd moved in with, and then when they came back, they were married.
Oh shit!
And I have to say, I didn't like that.
Shit!
It's been awful.
Yeah, but it's nice that it's nice that he asked.
Should be asked.
How many? Wait, there were 8 of you. How many siblings do you have?
I have a sister, a half sister, and I had 3 stepbrothers, but they just got divorced. So now I have 3 ex-stepbrothers.
Okay.
Is that a stepbrother once removed? What is the term for that?
I don't know, some guys I barely know.
A half stepbrother?
No.
A misstepbrother?
I think it's just a former.
Yeah.
If we'd been close, they'd probably just still be my stepbrothers. But we weren't, so they're my ex-stepbrothers.
Oh
anyway,
boy.
It's cool that he asked, is my point.
Yeah, I think that's sweet, actually. I prefer it if the children aren't present for the proposal, because I hate that.
Yeah, that's a kind of...
It's manipulative.
Yeah, exactly. It's will you marry me or will you break your children's hearts? That isn't okay.
My best friend
Don't do that.
from childhood's husband proposed that way.
Also, don't
his 3 kids.
Don't put your other half on a jumbotron at a sporting event. Don't do that either, because that's mean.
I would love that.
Would you?
To be on a jumbotron?
And to say no?
Oh, and be proposed to. I thought you just meant do you want... I just want some jumbotron time. I'm not...
Well, go to a Guns N' Roses concert and lift your shirt.
Okay.
Robin.
That's what they used to do.
Okay. I just...
Oh, were you not familiar with this? This used to be the thing, right? So the cameramen would rove around the crowd and the camera would lock on to a lady in the crowd. And this is awful. Welcome to the 1980s and 90s.
Very Girls Gone Wild to me.
Yeah, it really was. But this happened, and the whole crowd would be like, and baying, and then You either did or you were a bad sport.
I didn't know you were a Guns N' Roses fan.
I've never been to a Guns N' Roses concert.
But he's a fan of chicks lifting up their shirts for the Jumbotron.
Yeah, I love tits, obviously.
Come at us if you've taken your shirt off for the Jumbotron.
And we're not shaming that.
No, not at all. I'm
We're
curious.
also not shaming if you didn't.
Yeah.
Even though the entire stadium was shaming.
Whatever decision you made about showing your breasts.
Come at us if you're Axl Rose.
No.
And account for that shit because it's gross.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gross. Anyway, I don't want to go down that road, but
Let's definitely not do that.
but I'm pretty sure he sucks. Okay.
Rishi and Jen. So again, to recap, Rishi meets Nitesh at a dance bar.
Who else has seen Sweet Charity?
Certainly a part of this audience has seen Sweet Charity or would.
I mean, Jake Anthony has seen Sweet Charity.
He's going to love that you said Jake Anthony. Yes, he's seen it. It's great. Do you like Sweet Charity? Have you seen it?
What is that?
It's a musical.
No, I don't really
do musicals.
I just say that as like a blanket statement, and then there are a bunch that I like.
Yeah, that you like. Yeah, it's Shirley MacLaine is a dancer.
Oh, well, if it's Shirley MacLaine, then I probably would like it.
It's very good.
Brilliant.
Bob
And
Fosse
directed
the movie.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be on my list of the ones
it's really good. But
it's a delight.
Yeah, it's a kind of you dance for a living with men who go to this place. It's like
this was a normal thing that people did, though. It's not unique to this musical. Like there used to be dance clubs where you would pay to dance with.
They were
a lady.
still doing that when I lived in. I mean, oh my god, it was like 15 years ago. But this was at least then was still a thing in Bushwick, where they had these like places where men would go to dance with ladies, just like little dances to little songs. You know what I mean, like that.
And they paid for.
And you paid, yeah. It was still a thing.
Wow.
But like it was like in like the Latin community.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Come at us if you've ever been to a dance club where you pay for a dance. Again, no shame. I'm just interested in the experience. I used to tell another somewhat personal story from that time in my life. I used to work.
Is this the time when improv coaches were farting in your face?
When you say that time in your life, you
I just want to be clear on the time.
Yeah. You basically mean your life.
It's. What are you talking about? Yeah. I guess my entire life has had. I mean, ironically, you've never farted in my face, and you have more stomach problems than anyone I've ever been with. So that's
I'm telling you, I squeezed it out the other way.
I don't listen to a lot of podcasts either, but that does make doing that with this blue made me feel like I was on the Howard Stern show. Does that seem accurate?
We've got a Stern-like vibe going on here. This is why I'm concerned I'm not coming across as me.
It must be me.
I'm playing like a Stern. I'm going to ask you both to sit on the tumble dryer in a minute.
Oh, God.
I think he's apologized. I think he's done a hard left turn from all of that.
Has he?
I think he's apologized for.
And I think it's supposed to be the washing machine on the spin cycle.
Yeah, sure.
But
wait till you try my tumble dryer.
It's the same one they have at the MILF Manor. What have I done?
Yeah. The super at the MILF Manor. He's fucked with all of the white goods. They're all defective.
Oh my!
Juddering all over the place.
Anyway, there was a brief period of my life where I worked at a nightclub, And that was not my only job.
You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar.
I wish. I was a waitress at Denny's during the day, and I worked at a nightclub in the evening. And what they would do is
The Denny's didn't turn into a nightclub in the evening.
No, it turned into like...
It turned into Denny's at night.
It turned, unless it's like a cocoon themed nightclub, because the Denny's that I worked at was between a retirement home and a mental hospital. Yeah, that's right. So you can imagine.
Bellissimo.
Right. Anyway, I won't tell the nightclub story this week. I feel like I've used up my...
Have you used up your repertoire of anecdotes? You got to hold one back.
Now it feels...
Tell the story.
Okay, it's not that interesting, and now there's been a lot of buildup. But I used to... I had rotating...
Hello.
Jobs there.
You're right, that's not a very good story.
I was what they called a beer tub girl. So I would dance in a bikini on top of a tub of beer.
In the tub of beer. Yeah.
So they would bus in college kids from like University of Maryland and other places that were further out to this nightclub that was definitely extremely shady and a fly-by-night operation and super weird. And I was also a shot girl.
Yes, and you walk around with the little like vials of shots.
Yes,
little test tubes.
Except I had a magazine of
like
of
a
shots.
bandolier.
Yeah, I did, and I had to. I came to work in a bikini.
This was a wild time in. I don't know if these places still exist that are like this because it's so tacky. But when I lived in Philly, I dated a guy who was a bouncer at a place like that, and he in Philly. Called Tiki Bob's, and they had...
So he was called Tiki Bob's?
No, he was called Dennis.
All right.
The bar was called Tiki Bob's, and they had the shot girls with the test tubes of shots that were all like bright blue.
Yep, they're all blue.
And the chicks in the tubs of beer, and just Gwen Stefani all the time. It was a real nightmare.
It was interesting to say the least. I think they didn't want to tell me that I was terrible at dancing because I didn't get to do a whole lot of the dance part, which was what I was drawn to. You know, I really I wanted to express myself in that way.
In a bikini, in front of a bunch
and get
of
better tips.
Drunken frat boys. Yeah.
What year-ish was this?
This was, I want to say 2005.
Yes. Now that's exactly when this syncs up with my Tiki Bob's experience.
Okay.
And so my question to you is, was everybody who worked there also wearing like one or really like two push-up bras at the same time?
Yes.
Okay, what was that? Anyway, why was that happening? Anyway, that was just a time. It was like Jersey Shore was happening. Everyone was wearing two push-up bras at once, and Gwen Stefani was everywhere, and it was a terrible nightmare. And now it's coming back. I
made really good tips, though. Anyway, there was another girl who worked there who was a way better dancer than me, but what made me leave was not one of the bartenders showing me his dick in the walk-in. It probably should have been. I probably should have left then.
Was it very small because you were in a refrigerator?
You know, I didn't really look at it because it wasn't something that I asked for or invited.
Sure.
But I I left that job when one of the few times that I was just dancing in front of a bucket, basically on a stage, dancing on stage in front of a bucket that people put tips in. This girl came up to me and she said, "Will you give my boyfriend a lap dance?" And I said, "A lap dance? What do I look like?"
Oh.
And she went, and she looked mortified. She went, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's just like you're dancing in a bikini on a platform for tips." And I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore.
But that's like the great Baltimore tradition of go-go dancing. It's different from lap dances.
I wish I was doing go-go dancing.
And also there's nothing wrong with lap dances. That's good money. But it's
there's nothing wrong with any of it.
Yeah.
No.
But I wasn't aware that I wasn't really thinking about what I was doing is the point.
Well, sure. That's like what being 20 is.
And I have a well, I was a little bit older than that, but I have an opposite of a stress response to the song "Living on a Prayer" because that was the last song of the night every night, and it meant that I could go home.
That is not a go-home song.
No, you got to play Purple Rain if you want everyone to go home.
No, you put something really awful on that people hate.
Well, but the thing about Purple Rain is that it's not a bad song, but you can't dance to it, and it's really sad, and it's really slow, and it kills the vibe. But you also can't be like, "What? It's Prince." You're going to say it's a bad song, and then everyone just kind
I
of
could see a sexy dance to Purple Rain. First, it's got the word purple in it.
Tell the story that you were going to tell.
Well, this is like going back a bit, but it's such a ridiculous. And it might only be funny if you can see I'll do my best. The accompanying gestures I feel like are crucial. So this is just like not the medium for this. But just thinking about your walk-in story.
Right.
With the walk-in wiener.
Yeah.
And I was at a bar in New York. We all would go from the People's Improv Theater to a bar down the street called Mustang Sally's, which was what it sounds like, but it was also right there and drink. And a guy was like, "Oh, let's go for a walk." And I'm such an idiot. I'm like, "Oh, cool. I enjoy talking to you. Sure, I can also talk to you while we're walking to a place," not realizing that had like nefarious intentions.
Is he holding a head box behind his back?
And then when we rounded the corner, he pulled out a head box, and I was like, "Where were you even keeping that thing? Because it's bigger than a human head, because the head has to fit inside of it, plus the foam."
It's not very practical for walking, it should be said.
No, but we got like kind of near an alley, and he's like stopped, and then he just like looked at me like, "You know what this is?" And I was like, "What's going on?" And he like was like looking down. He was like, "Look at me," and like look down, like how you would do if you wanted somebody to like look at the little okay sign by your leg so you could punch him in the arm. Yeah. Like look down, look down. I looked down, and his weenie was just out. And I was like, "I'm sorry, what do you expect me to do?" And he just like did a little like face again, like raised his eyebrows, like, "Oh. And I took my finger and I poked his dick back into his pants through his unzipped zipper, and then I zipped up his jeans, and then I patted the crotch of his pants and was like, "There you go.
Fixed it for you."
I fixed it. We can go back now. I thought we were going on a walk."
Now you got to be careful with that zipper.
No.
Does she at that point?
Well, no, you don't. That would have been glorious if you zipped him into his zip.
Yeah, not my concern at the time.
I loved Twin Peaks so much as a young teenage boy.
Okay.
Twin Peaks was about to start, and it was a big deal. This is back in the age when, like, something was on. It was on. And if you didn't see it, you didn't see it.
Sure, I know how television...
Right. The shit wasn't getting repeated. Like, you couldn't on-demand it the next day. You sat down and you watched this shit. And this is obviously, like, better than Shakespeare. This is the greatest cultural achievement of humankind. And
after The Leftovers,
which hadn't aired at that point.
You need to stop saying that everything is better than Shakespeare. There's got to be
just two things, just Twin Peaks and The Leftovers. And I knew I wouldn't be able to make it through like 50 minutes without a pee. So I went for a pee, but also time was really tight because I could hear the dung, dung, dung. Angelo Badalamenti was doing his shit, right? I needed to finish this up as quick as I could. And so you're squeezing the pee out and everything. So I find that, right, that's all the drops that are going to drop tonight. Get to the sink, wash my hands. It's still out. Got to zip this up.
No. Okay.
Right? I don't even need to tell. I zip myself into my fly.
Like a, there's something about Mary sort of.
Ooh.
We've all done it with fabric, right?
Oh, I did it with my hair on the bus a few months ago. And like, it's like an industrial strength zipper on my Berlin winter coat. And like, my zipper was just stuck. I guess it's the same with your.
Is it better to go on and through or back?
I had to go back. I couldn't go through because it was just sucking more and more hair into the zipper.
These are the decisions, and I'm like, what is Agent Cooper doing right now? And do I have time to make this forward backwards decision? Do I call my mum? What? Why am I telling this story?
I don't know.
It sounds painful.
It was horrific. Bob himself could not have thought of anything grisly.
Oh, gross.
Right, who we got left?
Yeah, who's left? Oh.
Jen, Rishi. Rishi.
Yeah, so as we were saying, Rishi meets his buddy / astrologer at a dance bar, where a lady does under fluorescent lighting in what looks like a narrow office space.
They just got like some remnants from like Joanne Fabrics. And
who did the decor in this place? It was grim.
It was grim.
It was a crime scene, not a bar.
So she does her thing. There's a lot of there's a lot to be going on there while you're having a conversation
about whether or not you should get married.
I just want to think about the narrative for this girl. She was like, I'm going to be on TV tonight. I mean, think about it from her perspective, right? What a performance.
Yeah, she nailed it.
She nailed it. That was her international debut. I don't think she realized what show she was on.
No. Look, we've this is not our first astrologer rodeo, right?
Yeah.
We've seen this before.
You needed the guy to be the friend of the family and 40 years older.
I'm not going to demand to see Nitesh's credentials. If he says they have to be married on the 2nd of August at 4 p.m., then I'll take his word for it, you know?
I was a bit like, I didn't quite understand if that was when they needed to get married or if that was when they needed to tell the parents.
That was when Rishi needs to tell his parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought they were saying they had to get married.
No. He's saying that the parent, unless the two of us misunderstood, I think you're right, Emerald. I think the idea is the parents will only be amenable. It's like Back to the Future. You need to set up the lightning rod on the top of the building at exactly this time because the lightning will strike. I think the lightning will only strike his parents at 4 p.m. on the afternoon of August the 2nd.
Jen arrives in Jaipur. Now, look, we have zero context still for this picture that he sent to her friend.
We got a bit of context, actually.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Where Emerald can shed some light on Stillwell, Oklahoma, and the culture around that.
It's bad. I'm from southern Kansas, so it's like not too far of a drive. Like I'm familiar with this whole. I mean, all of Oklahoma. Oklahoma is like a sad place. If you think about like what Oklahoma is, it is the part of the country where they were like, we hate this place so much that we don't even mind giving it to the Native Americans who we wish were all dead and we hate them so we will let them live here. Like that's what Oklahoma is mostly. It's like huge reservations. Stillwell is the end of the Trail of Tears.
Right. I remember you saying that. I did not know that.
It's just Oklahoma's a bad I mean, where I'm from is not good. And everyone knows Oklahoma is a bad place. Like, it's so bad that they were like, yeah, you guys can have this to like the Native Americans and not in a good way. You know? They weren't like,
they're not going to give them the good shit, right? Yeah.
They were like, this is the worst we have to offer. You can have this, you know? Like, that's Oklahoma. And the culture is it's weird. It's a strange, it's like, it's a lot of rednecks, honestly. It's like a lot of rednecks. And like the redneck to hillbilly ratio is all out of whack. It's too many rednecks and not enough hillbillies.
Can you define the difference for me?
Oh gosh. That's like a whole different podcast, I think. Redneck is like,
I mean, I have an idea.
oh, you're probably right. You know what I mean? It's just like a redneck. It's like trashy, like my town donkey just died, and that's because of some rednecks. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, a hillbilly would know that you can't clear out a creek bed.
Rest in peace, Georgia.
Rest in peace, Georgia. Because
rest in power, Georgia.
Because the plants keep it from eroding. Like a hillbilly would know that because they're like know enough about the land and whatever. And a redneck is like, I just want to get drunk and fish. It's like
fucking donkey just died.
And then kill the donkey. Yeah, rednecks, Oklahoma. It's bad. It's a bad place.
But Jen doesn't seem that way. She seems quite well put together.
Right? I will say I've met some really nice people from Oklahoma, and I've got family from Oklahoma as well, but none of them are in Oklahoma anymore. They have all left.
My high school chemistry teacher was from Oklahoma, and he was hilarious and great. I'm not saying everybody in Oklahoma is a trash person.
Was his name Timothy McVeigh?
No, it was Marv.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not that. What? I'm not that old. Jesus. Also,
please cut. No,
I am not
cut that out.
I'm not cutting it out because I think it might be the wittiest, funniest thing anyone's ever said, and it's staying in.
We're gonna get letters.
No offense
from every Oklahoman.
No, but you can understand, right? If you can say something that quickly and cleverly, offending someone doesn't count, right? We can all agree on this, right?
Yeah.
The speed of the connection in the brain to make the joke justifies anything.
And I suppose, yeah, for the sake of being whatever, I should say, yes, I have also met nice people from Oklahoma. I am not saying it's...
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to... I wasn't...
I had a friend in a religious cult, and he went down there all the time to be with more of his religious cult people. So, and he's great now. I mean, he's not from Oklahoma, but he sure did spend a lot of time down there with his religious cult. No, that doesn't help. It's a great... No, it's not great. I've met some nice people from Oklahoma.
I think Jen is a nice person. We like Jen. I'm not so sure about her crew.
Her friends.
Yeah.
The Skype coven. The FaceTime coven.
Yeah, the FaceTime coven. There's always these people that are, down to shit on stuff. But in this case, fair enough, right? Now, what I want to discuss is the man who sends torso pics out to people, but then marketing. Is the product what the poster promised?
No, it was not.
And I can speak as a man who is, I'm a long way from ripped, but I don't go sending pictures out like that.
Like, when the COVID happened at the beginning part, I stopped drinking for like 6 weeks and lost a lot.
That is when you start drinking.
No, I stopped because I was too stressed and I lost a lot of weight.
Okay.
And that was because I drink a lot of calories. And so I was like smoking hot. Also coincided with a lot of sending naked pictures to strangers on. I mean, everyone was doing it. And they weren't naked. Oh my God. Like my mom's going to hear this. It doesn't matter.
Your mum is definitely not going to hear this.
But it was, like a lot of racy pics to Tinder matches because everyone was just desperately trying to like trauma bond with strangers. I wouldn't reuse those now. I mean, not only because my phone was stolen, but also because, I've gained like 10 pounds since then. It's like false advertising. You know what I mean?
I mean, for what it's worth, I think you're a very attractive woman.
Ugh, it's just like a sheet of nipples under this thing.
See, I've got
Our pug has got 7 nipples.
Huh.
I thought dogs had 6. She's got an extra nipple.
it's the mark of the devil. I've got like rubber duck titties. I've got like rubber duck nips. So one of them is turned inward like a little.
Like a
It's
little
like
beak.
permanently inverted.
Little beak.
They're like little beaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. So like, unless it's cold, I'm not sending. I'm not taking any photos. I make an effort to pinch them when
And
it.
you gotta keep the face out of there's like a lot of rules. I got a lot of rules for this stuff. But also I would never send like an outdated one, it just wouldn't. It just feels like cheating.
She was away for 3 months, was it? How long was she back in Oklahoma for?
I don't know. I don't think
Because he did not look the same.
No, I don't think it matters. And
The only reason it's relevant is because he's sending the picture out. I would not body shame anyone, but he's sending the picture out.
I mean, that was like
You can't see his face in the picture. That's what I'm saying.
man, maybe it was somebody
No,
else.
you can see his face.
No,
It
no.
was he was. I mean, that was like a hard body. That was like a fireman's calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you tell I also don't watch porn? I'm like, that was a fireman's calendar photograph if I've ever seen one.
Hey, I mean,
That's my
the
frame of reference for sexy naked men.
rugby guy calendars are the industry standard now. of
How do
sexy
we all
calendars.
How do we all feel about having hot liquid poured over our foreheads for protracted periods of time?
I don't like. I've got huge textural sensitivities about everything from fabrics to lotions to oil is a tough sell for me.
And I'm sorry, I missed it. Did they just they just poured it on there? Was there any like massaging or did they just pour the oil on?
I think there's some massaging, but they were talking about 5 or 6 liters. I don't get the feeling that is fresh oil for each person.
Oh, gross.
How many people is that? As a celiac, I get concerned about reusing oil in restaurants, but this is way worse. Way worse.
Well, I mean, you're not eating it.
My
But this is why it's,
My hair would be, my hair is not great with having, 1.5 gallons of oil poured on it. So I would say in that context alone, I'm not wild about the process.
Do y'all have like VO5 hot oil in the States?
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah, of
tiny
course
little
we
Remember
do.
packet.
hot oil? But it wasn't actually hot. right?
You heat it
Do you
up.
heat it up?
I think so.
Yeah, a little bit, but
Or like you heat it
to
up
get
on your head, like you put it on your head and then you like blow dry your hair or something. I don't know.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I'll put some oil in my hair, because I blow dry it and I don't want the split ends.
Yeah, but that looked like an outtake from Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about this. I only recently just started using conditioner, however many decades into my life I am, because apparently you're supposed to do that. So I don't know anything about a hot oil treatment, but I do know that I don't want someone to wrap gauze around my eyes and then trickle oil onto my... That almost sounds like torture.
Yeah, it looked like waterboarding.
Yeah, it did have a little bit of a waterboarding vibe for sure.
So did the line of questioning that followed. She can't help but ask about the DMs, and I'm unclear about whether he knows that whether he realizes that he's lying or not, because he says when he gets DMs, he just replies.
Yeah, just
like
reply.
rather than just. I would thought the right thing to say is
reply.
I just reply, and that's it. Like maybe, and she's thinking, okay, you shouldn't reply, but she's got the receipts, right? And he just blanket denies all of it, and I don't.
Smooth.
This is where I'm like, does he know that he's lying, or does somebody else help him with his Instagram? Because that's also a thing. I mean, I
hadn't thought of that.
I've run other people's Instagram accounts before.
Yeah.
That had not occurred to me. I'm pretty sure he knows he's lying. But also, I think he was dumbfounded because, as we have consistently said, he's like, I'm a male escort, right? That's how we met. And they're not airing that, but
Allegedly.
Well, allegedly by us. So
we have alleged.
We have alleged. This is our theory that it's all disingenuous because I think she knows damn well what he is.
And he's a male escort.
We
an
think
escort.
So. Yeah.
Why?
Because
they met in a hotel.
They met
lobby,
in a hotel where he was doing
a modeling shoot. Yeah. It's just everything points to it. And I'm not saying that it's not a Richard Gere, Julia Roberts. We met in this way. It probably
is. Yeah.
But it became a real relationship. It may well have been that.
He is a pretty woman.
He is a pretty, pretty woman.
It's a pretty man.
What is that, everyone?
Yeah, that is. Believe it or not, we've been talking for 3 hours.
Well, as far as the listeners know, it's 1 minute and 54 seconds. Hours, minutes. There was a lot. We came away from that, and I think we're entitled to go long because we came away from this episode going, oh shit, they actually gave us a whole load of stuff.
Are they all like 90 minutes long?
Yeah, they are, but usually very little happens over that 90 minutes. It's a little bit like a soap opera in that regard.
Okay.
You are exceptional for putting in this amount of time to something that you have no interest in.
Well, that sounds like my whole life.
I'm going to use that line in bed one day. Emerald, thank you so much. You are tremendous and glorious and a beautiful light. Thank you, everyone. You weren't expecting this, right? You thought this podcast would end by the time you got to the office, but no, you've kept this on, and Keith from accounting is like, what the fuck are you listening to? Because we're like hours over where we should be. Thank you.
We might have to split it into 2 parts. I think that's probably what we'll do. Is we'll.
Nah.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Nah.
That is what you're supposed to do.
We're going to have this disagreement off mic.
Yeah, we are. It's past my bedtime and it's starting to show. Thank you all so much. Keep coming back. It works if you work it.
Just stay on that beer barrel, everyone. Stay on the barrel.
Stay on the bee. Keep dancing.
Keep dancing.
Grabbing the handles.
Grab the handles. If somebody asks you for a lap dance,
Just do it.
I hope you dance.
It's like nobody except her boyfriend's watching.
Oh, brother.
And we will. All right, Emma, we close these out by saying, I'm cupping the microphone. See you soon. Okay?
Okay.
So on 3, 1, 2, 3. See you soon.
That's not how a human says that sentence.